ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a video of what I would say is a murder. It is a police officer killing a man by shooting him in the back. This is graphic. Let me warn you, it is not easy to watch. Here it is.
Phoenix Police. Have you done? Whoa! Put your hand down!
The man was complying. The man answered his door with a gun in his hand that he had a right to have. He answered the door because he didn't know who was knocking on the door, and he had issues with someone else knocking on his door late at night. He did not know this was the police. Let me give you some background to what happened to Mr. Ryan Whitaker. Police in Phoenix, a Phoenix police officer, Jeff Cook, is set to be fired for the fatal shooting of Ryan Whitaker. That occurred last May. Less than 3 seconds after answering the door, you saw exactly what happened. Now, you saw what happened, right? This man was not being violent. This man literally, once he saw the police, he said, whoa, whoa. And he started to lay down his weapon as well as lay down his body. That's what he started to do out of respect to the fact that law enforcement is at the door. He gets shot and killed in 3 seconds. Here's what the officers said happened.
Back away from the gun. Get back and get out here. Come out here. Come out. I'm not going to shoot you. Come out here. Come out here. Over here. Over here. Get down on your knees. Get down on your knees. Get down on your knees. Just get down. Just get down. Relax. You just pulled a gun on us, ma'am.
Okay, because it's dark and someone just knocked on the door. Baby!
Hey. Just relax. Stay right there.
There's nobody else in the house.
Okay, fine.
Why did you come and knock on the door? What's the problem?
Neighbors called, said you guys were arguing and fighting.
There was fighting over here.
I knocked on the door. I yelled Phoenix Police.
There was no fighting.
He opened the door with a gun.
This is crazy because literally the other night he heard knocking on the door and he was looking through the peephole and he does have a gun on him.
Yeah, he does. He came to the door with it. And I'm not saying that he did anything wrong, but he just.
But did he pull it on you guys?
He had it out, and when he saw it was us, he hit behind his leg and he started walking at me. I drew out on him. I was on him, but I didn't shoot. My partner shot. So the guy upstairs calls. So when he calls back, they hot it out. And while we're on the way, dispatcher says, "Just so you guys know, weren't able to get any further info from the complainant." He says he just is going to answer yes to all the questions. He just wants the cops here now. Okay, great. Thanks for that. You know, I pull to the left of the door. Jeff's on the right of the door. Police. Stand there. Door comes whipping open. I'm like, oh, killed something. And then I saw a gun in his hand. So I yelled, gun. Throw out. And the guy started going right down. So I was like, no, I don't have to fire. Yeah.
They're lying. The video clearly shows that the individual, Mr. Whitaker, should be alive today. These officers responded in haste. One committed the crime. I see it as a crime. I know we have to say alleged, but what you saw was the death of a man that should be alive right now. Now, let me give you some more background. You saw towards the end, Officer Ferragamo going over the incident with another officer, again, insinuating that Mr. Whitaker was aggressive up until the point Officer Cook shot him. Not in the video, contrary to the facts, opposite of what happened. You are being untruthful. You are a liar. You are aiding and abetting is what you're doing. Now, this is Ryan Whitaker, 40-year-old father. Just celebrated his daughter's high school graduation earlier that day. He's dead. There was no domestic dispute, ladies and gentlemen. No domestic dispute whatsoever. It took Phoenix police 55 days to release an edited version of the body cam footage after a prompt request from Whitaker's family and friends. This officer, Jeff Cook, shot Whitaker and is now on administrative leave. Let's put up his picture. Yeah, that's him. He was placed on administrative leave after shooting a man in the back who was complying, who was not a threat. This is the officer who lied, Ferragamo. He's the one that made up the phony story about Mr. Whitaker being aggressive against them, thus his partner having to pull and shoot his weapon. There's more. Whitaker's family said the couple had not been fighting, but they were playing a video game before going to bed. Whitaker's sister said he took his gun to the door after having recent trouble with an unknown person banging on the door at night. No domestic dispute, no violence, no criminality, nothing. On May 26, 2021, the Use of Force Board, comprised of sworn staff and community members, reviewed the shooting involving Officer Jeff Cook and recommended the incident be designated as within policy. After extensive review of the totality of the circumstances, get this, the damn chief, Chief Williams, has notified Officer Cook of the intent to move forward to end his employment with the Phoenix Police Department. The chief did that. The administrative process is still underway. In the interim, Officer Cook remains on administrative leave, and ladies and gentlemen, he remains paid. An entire board said, all good, no issue, within policy. The chief said, no, it's not within policy. It gets deeper. The Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, according to their statement, they are disappointed in the decision by the Phoenix Police Department to terminate Officer Jeff Cook. Cook should be in prison due to a shooting deemed in policy by the department's Use of Force Board, and will support him through the appeal process. What? You have got to be kidding me. Okay. According to the official report, this officer said that he felt he was in danger. He was threatened. No threat at all. My dear sister, how do you see this case?
I mean, there's so much there. We just have to take it piece for piece. But it's a crime. It's a clear crime and a clear murder of someone who was not even told to drop their weapon, or if they were, the bullets were already leaving this officer's gun as it happened, right? And when you look at the totality of it, you think, okay, so police officers are really deputized gangs. They are above the law, they can do what they want, and if there's any kinds of consequences, like after a year, terminating someone's contract, then you will have another gang behind you, which is the police union, that will come out and appeal and support you. Doesn't matter what you did. And so it is just time and again, you realize the police are not making us safer. They are truly not making us safer. And obviously, it is different to see a white man, an unarmed or an armed white man, be the one who is a victim in this case. But then you see that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the police are treating people like less than human, and especially people and Americans who do have a right to bear arms, who do have a right to carry a weapon, right? And who do have a right when someone's knocking on your door in the middle of the night to bring that weapon to the door. That's not a crime. It truly isn't. And I think this is where the right completely misses the mark, because you have, a guy like Whitaker who is defending himself. He's not, he was not aggressing upon anyone, answering his door with a weapon, perfectly legal, and he still gets murdered by the police. And yet we're supposed to so-called back the blue, or are we supposed to back responsible gun ownership under the Second Amendment. Which is it, right? It seems to me that the progressives and liberals have got this issue right, and it's the right that doesn't understand that we have an out of control force that is supposedly meant to keep us safer and is not.
And think about this, they are so detached from humanity that none of these police officers, after they commit this egregious act, none of them are emotional about it. None of them are remorseful. None of them are even hyperventilating. I mean, nothing. They're not showing common emotion for a crime. Let's say they made a mistake. Let's say, okay, the guy's saying, I made a mistake. Well, where's the remorse in your mistake?
Yeah.
You guys immediately went into cover-up mode. You immediately went into cover-up mode. That means there's a culture here. There's a culture of corruption that allows you to respond this way when you are faced with a tragedy. Yes. Where's the NRA? Where's the NRA? What are they gonna say about responsible gun ownership? I think you make a fine point. Nothing, because it doesn't fit their national narrative. So they're not going to say a word about this. And look at all of the committees that were involved. Initially, you have a committee. They say some of the people on the committee are community members and some are sworn officers. That committee said, oh, this was within policy. And then the chief had to step in and overrule the committee and say, no, this is not within policy. So we're having a policy debate when we should be having a criminal debate. That should be the debate. And then the city council gets involved. They vote unanimously that this officer was out of line, outside of policy, and they award the family $3 million. No money will bring back a loved one. They award the family $3 million. In December 2020, the Phoenix City Council voted unanimously Wednesday to approve a $3 million settlement with the family of Whitaker. Doesn't bring them back, but once again, why are we not discussing this in the context of a criminal investigation?
Yeah, I mean, it is really just like, you look at that footage and you're like, this is like a night raid in Iraq, or Afghanistan. This is just like, the sort of brute military force, go in shooting, ask questions later. And again, just like his partner screaming and crying, and just how many loved ones are told to sit down, to be quiet, to calm down when they've watched their loved ones. I remember the same footage on Philando Castile and his partner crying and no, in fact, calmly telling the officer that he was in the wrong. It was on her to be the bigger person. And this is the thing, we talk about police training this, police training that, and every time, right? It's always like, well, here's a police simulator, and they put some journalist in, and they walk around in this sort of video game, and they end up shooting somebody, and the officers are like, see, you are gonna shoot too. You're gonna be trigger happy too. And it's like, here's the difference though. Why does all this training lead to officers who are deathly afraid? It is a dangerous job, but aren't you supposed to rise above that feeling? Aren't you supposed to rise above that? Isn't your training preparing you mentally and physically to disarm people, to tell people calmly, to de-escalate a situation? But 9 times out of 10, they escalate situations. They make things worse. Imagine if they hadn't been playing video games. It was a domestic dispute. What if there was domestic violence involved? Does anyone still deserve to lose their life on that night? No, not at all. And so that's another thing, is we need to be calling other forces than the police. And look, I'm someone who still believes in the slogan defund the police, and to fund mental health services, domestic violence services, people who do know how to de-escalate situations.
Very well said.